Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of VIVE Influencers. Today we have a very special guest, Steve Knowles, who has a very fitting channel, SteveKnows. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Always, it's kind of a curse to always feel so positive. Uh, but
Oh,
yeah, I'm doing absolutely brilliant. Of
no,
course,
I was actually very curious because your show, the energy you emit is just always so positive, so happy, so cheery. And I was always wondering that, oh, is that your on-show personality, just always happy? Or are you like this off the camera too? And I guess you just described it as a curse. So I assumed that isn't something you can just turn off very easily.
that's very nice of you to say. Actually, I often get asked that, but the kind of the truth is, I am just as fidgety and excited in real life. And it took me a while to get comfortable in front of the camera. If you see my earlier videos, I'm not actually as natural as I am now. I'm very timid and kind of holding back. But this is the natural Steve.
I see. So when you first, and we'll get into some of those details, but since you brought it up, when you first started, you feel like maybe you had to be a bit more serious, had to be almost like a different camera personality, and then you really eventually realize, hey, the natural you is the best you.
No, it actually wasn't like that. I think it's something that's just kind of come with experience. It was just when I first started, I was it's kind of fluctuated. So initially I was very timid, but it wasn't because I was trying to be. I think it was just this natural response for me being in front of a camera for the first time. And I didn't realize I was actually so held back and reserved until you go back and look at the older videos. And then after that, I think I got too energetic. I start getting some really strange questions online, people asking if I'm on things whilst recording, and I wasn't. So I've like really had to be more reserved. But I'm glad to see that it's still coming across as passionate and enthusiastic about VR. But this is the more reserved Steve that you see on the channel.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you have this natural chemical high in you, so that's the best, right? People
That's
people
the
with
curse. That's what I'm saying. That's the curse.
it's so positive, you know. Like as you're describing the curse, your smile is just bigger than ever. It's a good curse to have. So yeah, so let's take a step back. Tell me about yourself and your channel, Steve Knows.
Oh, well, yeah, myself, someone I've always been passionate about gaming, but I grew up with kind of the retro flat screen games. I used to sit in, I had a cupboard that had a single shelf on it with the old CRT 15-inch TV with my Sega and NES hooked up to it. And I'd just spend all day, all day in that. So I've always been into gaming. But VR, I think I have quite a common story for VR that many people could probably relate to. The way you kind of just dabbled in it, and then all of a sudden, I just got incredibly invested. So it obviously started off with the Gear VR, having a Samsung phone, and then they had this Gear VR feature available. So I was like, sweet, let's try that out. And it was pretty impressive. It was pretty amazing. But there wasn't that many applications for me to use it in real life. Like there wasn't really in-depth games. There wasn't really many productivity tools for it. It was very, as what people have been saying, gimmicky. And then, of course, Sony released the PlayStation VR in 2016. I wasn't an OG Oculus backer. I hope people don't get upset with that. The original Oculus that was on Kickstarter many, 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 many years ago.
We're not going to be upset, just for the record.
I know, but there's some VR veterans out there that, you know, who are like, I can't, damn you, Steve, you weren't there from the inception, unfortunately. But yeah, they got the PlayStation VR, and then Resident Evil. That's where I fell in love, and it sparked my love for VR. Massive fan of Resident Evil, and Resi 7 VR support just blew my mind. And I haven't looked back since, actually. It's been a brilliant one.
Great. And how did that get you started on your channel?
Oh, well, the channel started off as a games console channel. I was actually covering the Nintendo Switch. Because that's kind of what all I was playing at the time in a hotel room on work experience. That's when the YouTube channel started. So if you see my first video, I'm in a hotel room with a Nintendo Switch. That's where it started. But I wanted to do it because I had such a passion for gaming and there was nowhere to vent it. So I thought I would start a channel and just get involved with the community. I'd always been someone that worked from like dusk till dawn, and ever since I left university I had this kind of evening space. There was this void. I had this passion to vent, and now there was this void in my life, this empty space that I needed to fill. So I decided to start making YouTube videos. And now it's kind of become a bit of an addiction. One of those things that when you're not doing it, it's all you're thinking about doing. Just time doesn't always permit, unfortunately. But then I transitioned to VR once the standalone devices came back, because the PlayStation VR is not the best tech. So I started dying off my passion for VR then. And then the standalone came out and it kind of revitalized my love for VR. And I dove in head first, trying everything.
Yeah. When you first started your channel, what kind of ambitions did you have for it? Did you just think about it's for fun, or it's like, hey, I want to make this biggest thing ever?
What was it about? Well, I think there's always something in you that wants to do that. Oh, this would be great if it was the best thing or the biggest thing ever. But yeah, that really wasn't the end goal. The end goal was just to vent and find like-minded people to share a passion with. And it's kind of gone way beyond that. I'm pretty much incredibly grateful and amazed at the journey. Pretty much every time I'm uploading video or reading the comments or talking to the community, having opportunities like this when you guys reach out to me. So it's pretty mind-blowing. I was just trying to do something, just to, share a passion, and it's become so much more than that. So I'm incredibly grateful and yeah, blown away every day.
What did you want to do when you were growing up?
Oh wow. It's such okay. Why was this? It's just because it's okay. What I wanted to do when I was growing up, embarrassingly, I was wanting to be an accountant. that was kind of the goal. I was really into my maths, and that was kind of what I was working towards.
I will tell you that's a first for me for growing up aspirations.
That's why I laughed, because it's like it's like kind of a.
Especially when people see you right now, that's so far away. Like, hey, it's like, hey, look at your face. Of course, you're doing accounting on a daily basis.
Steve, the accountant.
Hey, your name goes to any industry. You just know.
Yeah, but it didn't turn out like that. I actually ended up studying music when I went to university, and kind of fell out of love with a hobby doing that, and fell into computer science actually. And then that kind of just clicked with me. Me and computers just kind of clicked, and now I got a software development role at a very, very prestigious company, which helps fund the expensive VR habit that I've got. So yeah, I'm into technology now. Wow. Still something I think I just wanted a job that was mentally stimulating, even though accounting sounds boring. There's lots of number crunching, so lots of thinking involved.
Yeah. Do you play an instrument?
Yes, I play a bit of the drums, and I've got, well, they're not in here, and guitar as well. But pretty much anything that has strings attached to it, I can figure out and play.
Well, so you want to be an accountant towards the end of high school. You're like, actually, I really love music. Like you said, there's a hobby of it. And so then you decided to go into university with music. And then it's like, oh, it's fun when I do it for fun, but now it's my main thing. It's kind of
you get
charm.
It exactly. Yeah. It was a very strange experience having a hobby and thinking that's the direction you want to go in, and then kind of falling out of love with it when you're forced to enjoy. It wasn't the same experience.
Do you worry about that with your VR and your channel?
No, because this is the hobby. The VR this isn't my job, right? This is something I do when I come home from work. Okay. From my corporate job. That's something a bit more fun. And virtual reality, there's just no other form of escapism like it. So it's perfect actually. It kind of So going from that really strict kind of day job that I have, I get to come home and enjoy the best form of escapism there is.
So you don't have aspirations to one day making this your main thing?
Oh, I've thought about it, but I have such a passion for my day job, and it's something that I've worked so hard for to get, that I'm not sure that I would leave that job to do YouTube full time. YouTube would have to be going like pretty incredible for me to step back and do that, because I'm not just giving up a job. I'm giving up something that I'm really enjoy and actually quite attached to. But I love them both. Yeah. I wouldn't give up my VR YouTube. I probably wouldn't give up my day job. I love them both.
Yeah. Based on what you told me about your music experience, I think I recommend you keeping the status quo. Work on a job that's intellectually stimulating for you, just like your accounting aspirations, and then afterwards do create, obviously all creative, but just expressive creative stuff like the VR escapism and, run your channel. Do you have a regimen that you're following for the channel? Do you feel stressed like you have to release this many videos a week or whatnot, or it's just kind of free flow?
I think it used to be like that. It used to be like that when it started doing really well and started picking up. That's like all I was thinking about, all I was focused on. Let's get, okay, what else is there? What else is exciting? But then it comes to a point where you can't really force out content. It doesn't work. The audience and the community, they see right through it. So no longer really doing that, just more of when things come, when something is exciting and needs to be shared, and then I'll look at doing a video. So I'm not as strict on the regimen anymore. And you have to be really wary of burnout. When I'm working, because I have a day job as well, it's not full time. I'm working like 9-6, sometimes even later in the day job, and then to come home and then do all of the YouTube stuff. And doing that every single day, and then more YouTube on the weekend, you're just stretched so thin that it's just not healthy to constantly push out content like that. So as and when it's needed, and when the inspiration is there, then the video will come.
Well, you just talked about early on that, this is something where you think about even when you're not doing it, and it's like joyfully consuming your life. But now you're also saying, oh, it's so stressful. Like I don't want to be dealing with it all the time. So how do you reconcile that?
So yeah, that's the thing, because you're thinking about it all the time, but you can't do it all the time. So I'm always thinking, like, what's next? It's always in the back of my mind, I should say. And the only reason that it's stressful is because you end up working consistently. If I was doing YouTube as well, like 15-16 hours a day. So even though it is something you enjoy, it's still taxing. Regardless if you're having fun or not, those long hours of focus and mental stimulation take a toll on you. So you have to be careful. And the way I've been tackling that is, as I said, not forcing out and seeking actively, like seeking videos in depth, more of just enjoying virtual reality and letting inspiration strike.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever have to force yourself to just rest? And
yes, no, that's what. Yes, definitely. I definitely have to force a rest. Sometimes it's like 11:30 at night, and I'm still editing, and I should probably go to bed. I've got work in the morning, but I want to sit here. You have to pull yourself away. But luckily, I live with my fiance, and she keeps me under wraps. So otherwise I'd spend no time with her either.
Yeah, it's always a good thing when someone's around you, taking care of you, and also make sure you are taking care of yourself a little bit.
Yeah, it's quite funny. We've kind of planned the nights that she will cook dinner, because then it frees up an extra hour and a half for me to do video stuff. So yeah, the time management, you have to be on it. Adult life, it is this way, unfortunately.
Yeah, growing up, it's a bummer.
It really is, isn't it? I do miss those times, but you have freedom, but yeah, you've got to be responsible.
Yeah, I mean, you have a respectable job, and you have a passion you love, and entertaining and educating a lot of people. So I think you're in that sweet spot in life. So you're in that sweet spot of being a grown up, I'd say.
I guess it's downhill from here. You're saying I'm at the peak.
Well, you can maintain the sweet spot, but you can improve yourself in that spot. But that all those components, someone who cares about you, having a great job that's intellectually stimulating that you don't want to leave, and you have a thriving YouTube channel, and you're making a difference in people's lives. I can't think of lots of things to improve upon that. It sounds like everything's lined up.
That's really
so well.
kind of you. It's nice to get an outsider perspective on that. It's actually quite nice. It's true, because it is true. From my point of view, it's just focusing on the next thing that's next, but really taking a step back. I do lead a pretty special life, but I've had to work for it. But I'm definitely grateful as well, because there's definitely a sprinkle of luck for someone to get here, not just hard work.
Yeah, a lot of people do talk about, especially in these interviews, they'll talk about how grateful they are, how lucky they are. But I think a lot of it comes out of your attitude in general, your positive attitude, you're just constantly staying upbeat. One of the things we noticed, actually, we were doing the influencer algorithm, right? And we noticed that your engagement ratio is very, very high compared to let's say your subscription count. You probably know plenty of YouTubers that have a massive amount of subscriber count, but each new video the engagement isn't that high because the algorithm doesn't favor that, or they just people just forgot about them. For you, the comments, the people come in and just engage in the conversation is really, really high. And I think it's because that personality of yours just connects to people. They see you in the middle of a sentence and you start laughing at what you're about to say or what you just said. You're enjoying yourself and you're enjoying your own content. And I think people really resonate with that. And it's like, hey, I want to participate in the conversation. I don't just want to watch and be passive. I want to jump in and interact with this person. I think a lot of, and that ability to stay upbeat and so positive, even though this is what people call moonlighting, right? Night and weekends and whatnot. I think that's all something that you work hard to get because of who you are and what you've done.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, the community is very, very observational of you as well for some of the points you've just said. That, yeah, the engagement of the community that watch my videos is actually pretty fantastic. People are up for the discussion, like to get involved. I do try to respond to as many as I can in the first few days that the video is up. I'll try to comment as many as I can to spark the discussion as well, because I am interested in what people think. It's just me in a room, right? So I want to hear what I want to have that discussion with people as well. I can't have that chat with no one who's next to me. So it's great to see. And yeah, the laughing in the middle of sentences, I do that a lot. When I'm just like, oh god, this, okay, oh, we're about to say this, here we go, and I'll just start laughing to myself whilst in the middle of a video. Yeah, very observational.
It makes you very endearing, authentic, and genuine. So people like that.
It's gaming. It's not, I don't want to be moping and angry. This is about VR gaming. It is exciting.
Yeah, well, obviously a lot of people do gaming videos. Some of them are more, their personality is they're kind of trolling, saying like mean things out to their streaming. And, some people really dig that. And some people are like, hey, I'm just friendly and sharing information. But you're like, I'm so into what the stuff, I'm so in love with all of this. I just want everyone to know about this. It's so amazing. And, I think it's amazing too. Like it just, hey, I just feel like when I'm having a sad and depressing day, I just want someone like you around me. And I think that just by default will cheer me up. So,
oh, brilliant. How nice of you. Yeah, there's been some lovely comments actually that I've seen that have kind of made my day and make this journey worth it. Like this, there was one gentleman who commented on the video that when he goes into work and he's depressed and sad, and he's trying to like psych himself up to step into work, that he thinks of me starting a video saying, enough chewing, let's get started, and then he'll walk to work. Just like that, to know the fact that kind of impact is occurring to someone's life. For me, just making videos and sharing a passion is just mind-blowing, and I think it's brilliant. I love it. Yeah.
Speaking of which, how do you deal with negative and troll comments? Of course, YouTube, some of the most unfiltered, mean things are said there. How do you deal with that? And how did, maybe at the beginning it was harder, and now you have a healthy way to deal with that?
Yeah, I think you've known at the beginning. It's like, oh, it's very personal when you're quite down, and you just have to learn to deal with that. But I do like the negative comments, because something about YouTube that you don't get too often is you get the nice comments and the discussion. You get people's points of views, but you also get like the trolls who are aggressive. But then I still want to see some of the nasty comments that are really feedback that will allow me to improve, because sometimes someone's just rinsing you or saying something and someone's saying something really nasty, and you can't defend yourself, because they've only got the first take of what you say in the video. There's no discussion, so you have to. So that side of YouTube is tough, and I think that's what allows me kind of just to brush it off, because it's me talking, and then someone responding, taking the first thing I've said as kind of the literal, because it's not a conversation, is it? It's a video. It's one-sided, and you don't get that back and forth. So those kind of comments when people are kicking off and screaming, I take the feedback, try to do better next time, but I don't take it personally. No, we don't know each other, so I shouldn't be too sad.
Has there been times where you have taken personally, it just made you sad for a day? Or that just
I can't remember some of the comments, but yeah, it has happened. Sometimes they can say something that hits home, perhaps an insecurity of yours, and you're like, oh man, someone noticed.
Yeah,
but you just have to get over it. There's not much you can do about it.
There's a TEDx video about how to not take things personally, and the speaker was saying that if I said you were an orange, you wouldn't feel bad at all because it's totally untrue. It's like random, right? But if he says something that you feel like is an insecurity, then that's when you have the biggest reaction.
Oh yeah. Exactly what I was just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of resonates. But then it's about, it's really not about me. It's not about, taking offense. People, everyone has their insecurities in life, and some people just go out and just yell at other people and make other people feel bad to feel a little bit better about themselves. And so, the key, like you said, is just not take it personally, and usually for every one negative comment, there's 1,000 positive ones, and just not let that ruin your day.
Yeah. When you get these comments, it's because people are behind the screen door. There's an anonymity to it. If you were in person and someone was going to say this same sort of comment to you, their approach would be completely different. They wouldn't speak to you in the manner that they do in a comment. So you got to take it with a pinch of salt.
Were there days where you felt extremely discouraged and wondered if you should still continue to do this channel, and maybe you should do something else instead?
Admittedly, sadly, of course, it has crossed my mind because of the amount of hours that it's caused me to work. Even though it's something I want to do, there's other sacrifices in my life that kind of had to be made in order for me to pursue and keep on top of the YouTube. So sometimes when things aren't going well, you will think, maybe it's time, but that normally doesn't last long. As soon as I pick up the headset and I'm back in VR, it's like, oh no, this is it. I'm sticking around. You can't. I think it happens to most people. At some point, you've got to question it and think about why you're doing this again. What are you getting out of it? Is this something that you want to keep doing for the next 2 years, 5 years? I think being introspective is quite a good idea.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it happens when they feel like it's stagnant. It's the growth, the numbers are stagnant, and what's worse is if they're lower than what it was 3-5 months ago. That's when people feel like, oh, like, what am I doing with my life?
But it's all, that's true. I've had that myself. But it's all relative, isn't it? What you think is bad over the past, as you said, 3 months ago, might actually be pretty good still. So and that's what I was talking about. You've got to be introspective again. You got to think about, why are you doing this? Are you doing this then for the growth? Are you doing this for the money, or are you doing this for a passion or something you enjoy? Because if it's something you enjoy, then all the kind of sadness about your growth stopping will be overcome because it's something you want to do, not because you want to gain from it.
Yeah, I studied human motivation and gamification, and
very nice.
Yeah, there's a big difference between extrinsic motivation, where you do things for reward, purpose, or a goal, but you may or may not enjoy the activity itself. So once you hit your goals or you get the reward gets stale, you stop doing the activity. And there's intrinsic motivation, where you just enjoy doing it so much that you would even pay money to experience it. And if you lost all your progress the next day, you would still want to do that activity today, like play basketball with your friends, right? Or just hang out. Like, there's no points, no badges, achievements. You just evergreen, you just love doing it. And so if you do it for extrinsic purposes, again, once you feel like you're not getting extrinsic results, you get discouraged. But if you're intrinsically, you just like doing it is winning, as opposed to going somewhere. If you keep doing it, your life is good. You're winning. So you talked about NES in the old days, right? A lot of people speak very fondly of the original Super Mario game, right? I don't know about you, but I have seen very, very few people actually beat that game. Did you beat that game? You played Super Mario.
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I've got it. It's right there. You might see the gray box. It's right there.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember.
The original,
this is a long time ago
iconic soundtrack for Super Mario started there. Yeah, but the key point is that it's not about beating the game, right? It's about playing. No one's going to be like, oh, I can't beat the game, so I'm not even going to try, or I'm just going to give up, right? By playing the game, you're winning. And I think should be the case for things we're passionate about.
Yeah, I've got to agree. And I don't think many people actually in the YouTube game, at least, end up being that successful if they are intrinsically focused, at least in the VR niche space. I've seen a lot of people rise and fall trying to do VR, and it's all because they weren't getting what they wanted out of it. So it wasn't to do with sharing a passion. They had other motives. yeah, I just don't think you can be successful in this area if you have tainted what's the word, motivations.
Hmm. Yeah, and as you probably know, a lot of people want to be YouTubers. Most of them don't get a big audience, you know, a few dozen, a couple hundred. Um, what what was the moment where you suddenly felt, hey, this is really picking up. This could actually be pretty big, as opposed to just like any other YouTube channel that doesn't really uh, get a lot of steam?
I'm not entirely sure about that because I don't think I haven't really had the moment where it's just kind of gone boom. I've had a very slow, consistent growth doing these videos, and it didn't even start growing consistently for like 7 months of me making videos. But I think it must have been probably about a year and a half in. I think I might have hit 1,000 subscribers. And from that point, I started getting like 40 a day, 50 a day, 100 a day. And then I'll just be waking up absolutely ecstatic. Like, is this happening? I can't believe this. I'm getting more in a day than it took me, 2 months, a couple of months ago. This is brilliant. But I don't really think I've thought about that, to be honest. It's just been caught up in the excitement and emotions of it all. Haven't really reflected on that.
And it's most likely because you do it for intrinsic purposes. You're doing it because you enjoy it. You weren't watching these things as adamantly, and then over time, you want people over. So that's good.
Yeah, there we go. It's the evidence.
Yes, that's
Brilliant.
the good. What are some? Let's say this. What would you say is the most exciting highlight moment in your YouTube channel career? Like, if there's one moment where you're just ecstatic.
Yeah, I remember this clearly. The very first moment where I kind of lost my mind and thought, wow, it feels like I've made it. This is it. I've made it, Mom. That saying, because when I started, it was if I ever get a free piece of hardware and tech early, then I'm life is good. I've come like that's the be all end all of achievements. And I actually got that from you guys. And when I got that email to try out the Cosmos Elite, I think I was just telling all my friends, all of my family. I was losing my mind, and I think that moment's kind of it's going to stick with me for a long time because it's the very first piece of hardware that I got early to review,
Oh, wow.
and it blew my mind.
I was not expecting like us to be the reason of your highlight moment, but of course I'll take it.
That was the first time, right? That was my first, and I think I only had like 5,000 subs at this point, so I lost it. I really lost it, and that was the first time that I actually tried a native PC VR headset as well. And again, it allowed me to have one of those VR moments where I was just blown away once again. Like the first time you try VR was I played Robo Recall with the Cosmos on, and then just the clarity of the device. I was I was in awe. So it's stuck with me. That moment has.
Great. Where do you think VR would be in 10 years?
Tough. I know there's all of these secret little devices that are going around, like brain interfaces, your face trackers, the full body tracking, soon to be checking our emotions with biometrics coming from the HP Omniceps. I am I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of I feel like I'm more scared of what VR is to become than excited, if I'm honest, brutally honest. I'm definitely really excited for VR to continue to grow and become more mainstream, meaning that we'll be able to get better products, hopefully at a better price, and have things like the facial expressions, the full body tracking, the wide FOV, wireless. I don't know. I feel like VR in 5 to 10 years but we can say that we'd like to have a brain device. You know, it's all occurring in here. We're not doing anything else. But I don't see that. Realistically, I see incremental improvements of the headsets that already exist. So I'm hoping really for a wireless device that can do PC VR, wide FOV, like 180, if possible, 180, 200 FOV, like 5K resolution displays per eye. Bear in mind, this is like 10 years time. And facial expressions built in, not external devices, full body tracking without external devices, optical tracking if possible as well. So you have like an all-in-one sort of package for VR that's portable. And I expect and really want the device to be smaller. That's kind of what I want. I want the headset to be like a pair of goggles. That's what I would like in 5 to 10 years.
It's hard to have a very small goggles and still have that 180 FOV.
Yeah, it would be like a Cyclops from X-Men, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or Star Trek, if you're into that guy who had the band around.
I'm not gonna name names, but there is a headset that have pretty wide FOV, but it's like covering your entire head.
I know, yeah. I know the device you're talking about.
It's easy. It's easy to have big FOV if your whole head is covered in a helmet.
Yeah. There'll have to be some special sort of the way some like lenses are created, I think, to solve that problem, as opposed to having wider panels in the headset. But yeah, I know the device you're on about, and I don't know, the device doesn't seem, although it's got great FOV, doesn't seem practical for the masses.
Yeah, I've heard it's better on paper, and when you put it on, it's not as good. But I'm not here to trash talk any other companies. Yeah. We don't know what that company is. It's completely a mystery. So anyway, what's something you are proud of in your life that isn't obvious to others? I mean, you told me about something, right? But this is, people kind of know. What do you think would surprise people that you're proud of?
Oh, well, I think, I don't know. I don't want to go like too deep, really. I've not really spoken about this ever, but I think just where I am in life right now is all kind of derived from my own hard work. I had come from quite a rough, humble beginnings. Just to cut a long story short, pretty much come from nothing to now living the life and having all of this that you've described, that I'm in that sweet spot. I kind of wake up grateful every day for that. So that's I don't know if that's a story I would ever share with the audience, to be honest with you, because it's quite personal, and they're here for VR, and I want it to be exciting and happy. And if I talk about
I mean,
the life story, it gets a bit a bit dreary.
No, but this is the perfect story about, hey, starting in a humble way and then getting to a good spot. I mean, that's like literally the
cliche.
The storytelling story. It's like, if people were to make up a story, they would tell your story.
Yeah, that's what I feel like it is.
So it's not embarrassing.
My story is like that.
It's a perfect story.
Maybe I'll save it for. I think I'll save it for another day. But I think it would be quite a good story to do at some point. I think a lot of people can relate and hopefully find some inspiration from it, and know that good things can come even if you're in a bad situation.
Yeah,
so
and
we will see.
And I'll reiterate, I think people are on your channel not just because they want VR knowledge. It's because they're interested in you and your personality and how you're so vibrant, you bring joy to their lives. So I think you don't have to be afraid to say, they just want to know VR, so I don't want to, maybe I shouldn't talk about myself. I think your audience would more than welcome that and bond with you even more, I believe. So I recommend it.
Oh, thank you. I'm just nervous, definitely nervous about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, don't tell anyone if you like murdered someone and where you hit the body, and don't.
Oh,
leave those things out. Yeah, leave that.
Yeah, Kaiser associate and just swap those things out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that might affect your channel a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get that's it. The channel will be gone. It'll be taken down. There's no more. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah. At least still hide the place where you hit the body.
Okay.
Um,
Another interesting fact, I guess people won't know that's not as sad and depressing is whilst I was working through university, and during my part-time job, I worked in a coffee store.
mm,
And then working in this coffee store, started studying coffee, doing latte art, and entered a barista championship, and actually came second in my country, representing the southeast of England. So I am quite a coffee connoisseur, doing latte art and coffee knowledge. But I'm not a coffee snob. It's just something I studied and entered competition and did quite well. So
that's
fun fact.
that's incredible. I think it's almost like whatever you get interested, you like kind of helps you pour in all your heart and energy, and you try to master it, and then you achieve results. So, and I've noticed how varied your interests are, from accounting to music to coffee to you love your development job too, and to VRT videos. So yeah, you're like becoming a renaissance man, but just with more happiness and more laughter.
Yeah, I think I got a problem where I need stimulation. So whenever I'm getting involved in something, I kind of I go head first and give it my all.
Yeah, it's a good quality to have. All right, we're gonna wrap up soon. So what are some top lessons you have acquired in the past 3 years, especially things that you didn't expect to learn?
Oh, do you mean like in regards to YouTube?
Anything you want to share, but YouTube or just personality,
YouTube
dealing with people. Yeah,
what lessons have I
anything
learned in the last
anything
couple of
that you
years?
did not expect that you would learn.
Do you know what I have to say? I've definitely learned after working so hard, and as I'm saying, it sounds like I'm boasting. I'm not, but there's a reason, context, that after working so hard and getting a good job and having a successful YouTube, that I have realized that having an education and really pushing for that 9 to 5 kind of job office life, which isn't for everyone, isn't everything to life. I've found that since I've achieved what everyone said that I'm supposed to achieve, that I've still had to go and find my happiness and my passion elsewhere. So for people who are probably young and interested, I would recommend pursuing things that you enjoy, and not focus on money, because you'll achieve it, you'll get the money, you'll think that's what you want, and you still won't be satisfied. So pursue things you enjoy, pursue things that you love. It's more important for you to enjoy your life than working for a system. That's something I've been pondering on quite a lot over the past couple of years since I've finished university and been working.
Yeah, that's a great lesson. There's one book I really enjoy. It's called Thinking Fast and Slow, and it's
I love that book.
Yeah,
I know exactly what I love that book.
All right. So, the author Daniel Kahneman, he won a
Yes.
Nobel Prize in economics, right? And
Fantastic.
and he did most of his work with this guy, Amos Tversky, which unfortunately passed away before they won the award. And what's interesting is if you read the first couple chapters, Daniel Kahneman will constantly talk about how funny Amos was. He's a funny guy. He tells jokes. He's so funny. And he just kept saying that. And at one point, he finally boiled down to why he kept mentioning. He says, because we enjoy working with each other, we had fun. We were more perseverant. We could endure more than everyone else in the academia industry. So that's how we got to our results, because we enjoyed working together. It was fun because he was funny. And the funny, like, fortune cookie kind of insight that was derived is that, hey, if you're working with funny people, maybe that can get you to win a Nobel Prize.
That's really quite a good way to put it, isn't it? They were working with someone they enjoyed working with. Because they enjoyed that, it allowed them to persevere more. So it means they could push harder, take more work, and allowed them to achieve more. That's what a great take. Because I really do love that book as well. It's such a great way. If any of you haven't read that, it's not a really big book as well, and it's a great insight into how the human mind thinks, pitfalls and flaws. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and in case of research, again, a lot of people give up if they don't get results, just like YouTubers, right? People give up if they don't get results. research and economics, people give up, or psychology, they give up when they don't get results. But if you become a joy to work with, if you enjoy the work you do and you show how passionate you are to people around you, then everyone has a better time and people can go forward. Like, again, that journey is what counts, not the destination. Great. As we conclude, is there anything else you want the audience to know, or you want to plug anything? Feel free to do that.
Why not? Please go check out the YouTube channel. It's SteveKnows, short for Stephen Knowles, my name. I know also it was meant to be. If you like virtual reality content, please go check it out, and I hope you enjoy. And thank you for having me as well. What a great way to end it, with such a nice sentimental touch, cherry on top.
Yeah. Are you ready to do your outro smiley face that you often do? Oh,
can I do that?
Yeah, do that.
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy gaming. Good day.
you also have this at the end of some of them. Yeah, I love that.
And then unfortunately we don't have it, but Bob, we get Bob the cow.
Yeah.
Break dancing as well.
Yeah. Anyway, really enjoyed our chat together. Probably my favorite. Just we connect on so many different levels, and I think I've learned a lot from you, and I'm sure the audience will learn too. So look forward to seeing more of the things you'll create on your YouTube channel, and just look and hope that you will find again that passion and that happiness in life and sustain that, and may you never burn out and always live passionately.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.